Realme has been launching smartphones at a breathtaking pace, and the latest one to roll out of the assembly line is the Realme 5S. Now, this phone is a minor refresh of the Realme 5, with the major new changes being this brand new red color. We have a promise of a slightly better battery life and a new 48 megapixel primary camera. Now, this gives Realme a smartphone that's equipped to take on the current competition, which happens to be the Redmi Note 8 and even the Vivo U20. But have they succeeded? Let's find out in our review. Now, before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you're the first to know whenever we have a new video. The physical design and the features of the Realme 5S are identical to those of the Realme 5, and we've already covered that in a different video, so be sure to check that out. In this video, we'll focus on the cameras of the Realme 5S and a couple of other major features. Now, the 5S has a 48 megapixel primary camera compared to the 12 megapixel camera on the Realme 5. This is the same Samsung GM1 sensor that we've also seen in the Redmi Note 7S in the past. The other three rear cameras are the same as that on the Realme 5. You get an 8 megapixel wide-angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. In daylight, the primary sensor captures better dynamic range and details compared to the Realme 5. However, there's also noticeable noise in the objects to the side of the frame. Portrait mode is handled very well too, with better exposures and skin tones. Close-ups have good detail with well-defined edges and good contrast. The wide-angle camera can give you an interesting perspective, but details are visibly weaker and colors can look a little washed out compared to shots taken with the main camera. The macro camera has a low resolution, but if you're patient and the light is ideal, you can get sharp-looking shots. The Realme 5 struggled a lot in low light, and while the 5S does deliver slightly improved white balance and colors, it's largely the same experience. In some shots, there was evident improvement, but more often than not, we had to go looking for the differences. Now, Nightscape helps a bit in correcting the exposure and bringing out slightly better detail, but the Realme 5S isn't always a clear winner here. In some cases, we actually preferred shots taken with the Realme 5. For selfies, we also have the same 13 megapixel front camera with an f2.0 aperture. Selfies taken in the daytime look decent with natural skin tones and a fair amount of detail. Portrait mode still needs a bit of work as the background blur can be a little too aggressive. In low light, the selfie camera struggled with detail and there was lots of visible noise. The screen flash was quite powerful, which helped in very dark situations. Video quality was okay during the day, but there was some focus hunting when panning the camera around or walking about. Videos are electronically stabilized, but only up to 1080p resolution and not at 4K. You can shoot using the wide-angle camera too, but the quality drops a bit. In low light, video quality was below average, as even at 1080p there was lots of grain and shimmer in the footage. Now let's quickly go over the performance, software and battery life of the 5S, even though not much has changed from the Realme 5. The new phone also ships with a Snapdragon 665 SoC and comes in two variants, one with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, and the other with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. The Realme 5S doesn't heat up too much, but we did notice it getting a little warm when gaming. The Snapdragon 665 isn't the best SoC for heavy games, and even though PUBG Mobile offered a decent experience at low to medium settings, PUBG Mobile Lite is more suited for this phone. Now, lighter games such as Alto's Odyssey ran well, but the large screen and HD+ resolution made the edges of objects look a bit jagged. The Realme 5S runs on ColorOS 6.0.1, and our review unit had the October security patch. The phone comes with plenty of pre-installed apps, of which the third-party ones can be uninstalled. Now, according to the company's roadmap, the Realme 5S is also scheduled to receive the ColorOS 7 update sometime in May 2020, so that's again something to look forward to. The Realme 5S has the same 5000 mAh battery capacity as the older model. However, this phone ran for a total of 27 hours and 16 minutes, which is extremely impressive, even considering that the older model ran for about 22 hours. Now, with normal use, one could easily go 2 full days before needing a charge. Sadly, the phone doesn't charge too quickly. We only managed to charge the battery up to 43% in an hour, which isn't great, and charging it all the way to about 100 takes well over 2 hours. The new main camera on the Realme 5S delivers slightly better results in daylight, but still struggles in low-light situations for stills and videos. Now, other than this and the new body color, there really isn't anything to distinguish this device from its predecessor. We feel that Realme could have done a lot more with the 5S to make it truly competitive. Now, the Realme 5 was a very good phone at 10,000 rupees when it launched a couple of months back. But in that short span of time, we've had some pretty fierce competition like the Redmi Note 8 from Xiaomi and even the Vivo U20, both of which offer a little bit more, especially higher resolution displays. We think Realme could have made the 5S a little more competitive by adding little features such as a Type-C port or maybe even fast charging just to give it an edge with the current competition. So thanks for watching our review, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.